Maybe I should just stay in bed. Happy Thursday, everybody, the 17th day of January 2019. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we're on the air, and I mean just barely on the air on this snowy Thursday morning. Began snowing shortly after midnight last night, I know, because I was awake, believe it or not. And it was just snowing lightly, really, from midnight till about 4:30 or so, and I'm speaking specifically of the Wenatchee Valley. And then from about 4:30 to now, and it's been going on for, about 2.5 hours now. It's been snowing pretty good. It really picked up in intensity at about 4:30 or 5 this morning. It's been snowing at a pretty good clip since then. We still have the winter weather advisory. In fact, it was supposed to expire at noon today. They've bumped that back now, 1 o'clock this afternoon. So we have a winter weather advisory. We do have snow. If you don't like snow, I got some good news for you. It's going to switch over to rain later on today. And then on Friday and Friday night, we're going to have a lot of rain, which means a lot of snow melt. Temperatures will be in the 40s, and we'll have sunshine and temperatures in the 40s on Saturday, but we got to get there first. So it is a snowy Thursday. The only school delay that we know of is out in the Quincy School District. They're running 2 hours late. All schools in the Quincy School District 2 hours behind schedule today, and they're not serving you breakfast, so you're on your own for that. Good show for you today. We have that all-important weather forecast. We'll take you up to the passes, we hope. We got some technical difficulties there. A lot of news to get to. Sports, we got the Wenatchee Wild highlights from last night's game against the Penticton V's. Went all the way to a shootout. Spoiler alert. You'll just have to wait for that. The obscure holiday today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. It's Thursday. That means kennel cameos with our very own Megan McPherson. See if we can get Penelope the dog home. And then in the conversation portion of this program, our news director, Cal FitzSimmons, visited with State Senator Brad Hawkins via Skype. He did that on Tuesday. We'll have a couple of snippets from that interview coming up during the newscast, and then the entire interview with Cal and Brad will air in the back half of the program. And as you might imagine, with the clouds and the fog and the snow, we have a limited amount of cameras we can look at. All the cameras are working, you just can't see anything with our high-definition PTZ cameras. In fact, let's see what we can see, courtesy of producer Megan. What do we have, Megan? We're going to start out with, that's a look at that. That's from the roof of the Cascadian. We've been using that quite a bit lately because it's one of the lowest cameras, so it's not socked in with fog and clouds. But as you can see, the lens is getting kind of gloppy there. The streets are gloppy, if that's the word. Even the main arterials are pretty slushy, even though the plows have been out and about. The side streets are really bad. They're pretty slick. And even the main arterials are a little difficult to get around this morning. Again, the snow should be tapering off by about noon and then switching to rain. Every time I see that on the lens, I just want to go up there with a paper towel and wipe it off, but I can't do that. Camera number 2, what do we got, Megan? We're going to be looking at that beautiful shot of, I'm sorry, Megan, what is that? That's the Rock Island camera. So it's a beautiful morning out there in Rock Island, completely socked in with the clouds and the fog. Somewhere down there is the hamlet of Rock Island. We'll just make it up. Oh, look at that. It's a beautiful view of the of Alcoa, and there's the golf course. There we go. We'll just use your imagination. Maybe an artistic rendering or something like that. Camera 3 is going to be probably something similar to Rock Island. Oh, good morning, Kashmir. Yeah, okay. You're down there, Kashmir. Trust me, it's the Apple Annie's camera. Again, for the Sky-Fi system to work, the cameras by definition have to be up high in elevation, so these dishes can point to each other and send all that information to and fro via the World Wide Web. And, well, because the cameras are up high, that's what you get. I can't wait for camera 4. This ought to be good. This is a beautiful view of Arondo Rock. There you go. Once again, just use your imagination. If you squint really hard, you can make out Turtle Rock. And I mean, you got to squint really hard. Yeah, it's snowy out there. Let's go. There you go. At least we can see something with that. That's our views from around the valley, kind of, on this snowy Thursday. All right, 5 minutes after the hour from the National Weather Service. Let's take a look at your forecast. Again, we have a winter weather advisory until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Going to continue to snow until around then. Then it should switch over to rain. Of course, a lot of the snow depends on where you're at. Leavenworth and Plain, you're going to get more snow than here in the Wenatchee Valley. It's snowing pretty much everywhere, with the exception of the Columbia Basin. Afraid of Moses Lake, you're getting rain, but here in the Wenatchee Valley, It is snowing at 30 degrees. Do we have that forecast for us, Megan? I could just read it. Okay, so yes, winter weather advisory until 1. It should switch over to rain. Not a lot of rain, but it's going to be a little on the drizzly side this afternoon. We'll top off at 38 degrees, so it's going to warm up quite a bit. Slight chance of light rain tonight mixed with snow. No real accumulation expected. Overnight low of about 31. Tomorrow, we're going to get rain. It's going to be cloudy most of the day. It's going to be dry most of the day Friday. Hey, there we go. Until we get to Friday night. Then it's going to start raining. In fact, Friday night into Saturday, lots of rain, maybe even a quarter of an inch, which is a lot of rain for us. So we're going to have a lot of snow melt on Friday with a high of 41 and an overnight low of 33 with rain on Friday night. And then Saturday, even more snow melt. Lots of sunshine and a high of 43 is our forecast on Saturday. I don't know why that says cloudy. It's actually going to, I think we're off by a day here. In any event, and then the weekend doesn't look bad at all. So there you go. It's going to warm up quite a bit once we get through this snow. And again, it's supposed to snow till about 12 noon today and then switch over to rain. Major mountain passes. We had to take these photos about an hour and a half ago, even longer than that. These photos were taken at about 5:15 this morning. And I'm glad we did it too, because the entire DOT website is down. Not just the mountain pass cameras, but the entire Washington State Department of Transportation website. All their pages is currently not working. So I can't tell you what the mountain passes, as far as the conditions are concerned, as far as advisories or restrictions, I simply don't know. I have no access to it, I'm afraid. So that's a shot from I-90 from about, 3 hours ago. You can tell it's snowing there. They're going to get snow today. Winter weather advisory for the mountain passes until noon on Friday. About 3 inches of snow today, 3 to 7 inches possible tonight, another 1 to 3 inches possible Friday, 6 to 10 inches possible Friday night, Saturday 2 to 4 inches, and a couple of inches on Saturday night. By the time this system gets through for the mountain passes, 14 to 29 inches of snow expected in the Cascades. More so, of course, on Stevens Pass than on I-90. Simply because of the elevation difference. But as far as advisories or restrictions on the big three, Blewett, Snoqualmie, and Stevens, I don't know because I don't have access to that information. I'm assuming, of course, you're going to find winter driving conditions. It just makes sense as you see the snow coming down at a pretty good clip. And again, these photos were taken about 5:15 this morning, right before the DOT's website crashed and burned. So sorry, I don't have that information for you as far as the conditions are concerned. 8 minutes after the hour, what we do have for you is news, and that's 1 minute away. Your Thursday morning news on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and you're watching it live from Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington. We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I'm a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Just about 10 minutes after the hour on this Thursday, this snowy Thursday. 30 degrees with some snow coming down, and it'll snow off and on until about noon. Then it switches over to rain. Here's what's making headlines on this Thursday morning. In his State of the State address on Tuesday, Washington Governor Jay Inslee focused heavily on climate change, mental health reforms, and a free college program, all part of his proposed $54.64 billion budget. That's a 21% increase in state spending. Inslee called on legislators to be bold in taking on the challenges the state faces.
I know the things we are proposing this year are not small or easy, But good things in our story have not happened through timidity. They have happened because of our optimism and because of our past bold action. Good things in our story have happened because we didn't give up. So again, I ask you, which Washington story will prevail? The story where we rested on our laurels, or the story where we rose up, we called out, and we wrote a golden chapter that's worthy of our best selves? This chapter will show we answered our obligation to lead with higher expectations. This chapter will show that we made Washington better for everyone seeking a fair shot. This chapter will show that we defended the values that we stand for. And more than anything, this chapter will show the heart of who we are. We're the people who always make history. I really believe in the state of Washington. And I believe our next Washington chapter must show that we push the limit, we move beyond that plateau, and we always looked for the next beginning. So let this be our profound story. Let it be bold, and most of all, let it make history. So let's get to work. Thanks a lot.
12th District Senator Brad Hawkins says Inslee's proposals sound good, but paying for them, well, that's another matter. This year, he said with Democrats having a 28-21 advantage in the Senate and a 57-41 advantage in the State House of Representatives, the state could be looking at major tax increases.
Really, it was one of those things where everybody was so upbeat about it because he wanted to do all these things. But there was one thing he didn't cover in his speech, which is how we as a state are going to pay for all these things. And so that was one thing I noted. He didn't get to talking about his proposed tax increases that he rolled out a couple weeks ago. In the past, the governor has proposed something similar, both with the proposed capital gains tax, which would be a new capital gains income tax in the state of Washington. Governor's also proposed significant increases in the business and occupation taxes, and altogether, I think his additional revenue through his taxes were in the neighborhood of $3 billion or more. And that concerns me a great deal. But in the past, the governor and the majority parties haven't had the votes to advance them. But the pendulum, as you know, has swung quite a bit over with these recent elections. Of the 49 members in the state Senate, 28 are Democrat and 21 are Republican. And so really, I guess what it comes down to is whether they're really serious about advancing those priorities and those tax increases, because I do believe they have the votes this year to advance those if they want to. So unlike past years, unfortunately for the people of the state of Washington, we could be seeing some significant tax increases from Olympia.
And once again, Cal FitzSimmons' conversation with Senator Brad Hawkins in its entirety will be seen in the second half of this program. The Upper Wenatchee Valley real estate market was a mixed bag in 2018, according to the year-end report by Pacific Appraisal Associates in Cashmere. There was a 25% drop in the number of homes sold, but the median sale price increased by 26% to $357,000. In Leavenworth, there was a 15% decrease in closed sales, but the median sale price for a home in Leavenworth rose 9% in 2018, over $424,900, the average home price in Leavenworth. Well, Wenatchee Shopko store not included in the latest round of store closures after the nation's retailer filed for bankruptcy protection. The Wisconsin-based Shopko filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection from their creditors on Wednesday. The retailer says it's going to close 105 stores nationwide, including stores in Yakima, Lacey, Pullman, and Spokane. The company says excessive debt and ongoing competitive pressures forced it to seek protection from its creditors. They say they have assets of about $1 billion, but liabilities between $1 billion and $10 billion. There's a major pharmaceutical drug company that says they alone are due $67 million from Shopko. That's a big bill. Shopko reported in December it was closing 39 retail stores across the country, including stores here in Washington, but the closure is not expected to happen at the Shopko at Valley North Mall in Wenatchee. Shopko has, of course, struggled in recent years, as has other major retailers. Well, the future of law enforcement in Tenasket still uncertain after the town's embattled mayor disbanded the police department. Our very own senior news correspondent Steve Hare has been following this story out of Okanogan County.
The Omak Chronicle reports the issue was discussed Tuesday night at a town hall meeting hosted by the town's Public Safety Committee, along with Okanogan County Commissioner Andy Hover and Okanogan County Sheriff Tony Hawley. Around 60 people attended the meeting at the Tenasket Elementary School. Some residents appeared to support the concept of the city contracting with the county. Others said they would rather rebuild the city's police department or a combination of both.
A 5-year contract would give us time to build a new police station, raise the monies, and start a new police department. This is true. So what is everybody sniveling about?
Last month, the city's mayor, Dennis Brown, terminated Police Chief Darren Odegaard and Officer John Cruz. They were later rehired, but then refired. Brown is also accused by another police officer of making racist comments. Last week, Officer Jose Perez claimed the mayor asked him to change his name from Jose to Joseph because he said it sounded too stereotypical and too Hispanic, end quote. 2 council members cast votes of no confidence in the mayor. He stated he would not resign. City Council is expected to resume talks on the matter during next Tuesday's regular meeting. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Thank you very much, Steve. 2018 was a record year at Pangbourne Airport in terms of commercial airline passenger boardings. Total passenger volume, 127,563. That is a record for the airport. Due to passenger growth in 2017, Alaska Air added additional flights during the summer and holidays of 2018. Chelan County Port officials say another major factor in the record passenger numbers was a significant reduction in cancellations last year. The percentage of canceled flights fell from 5.9% in 2017 to 2.7% in 2018. Officials add that progress is also being made in efforts to secure additional service to San Francisco. The airport has held meetings with several interested airlines, including Alaska Air, United, and SkyWest, with the goal of obtaining new service by mid-2020. Of course, the airport is jointly owned by the ports of Chelan and Douglas counties. And hey, good news for you skiers. The upcoming Martin Luther King weekend marks the opening of the Badger Mountain Ski Hill. Up near Waterville, of course, the ski hill offers 3 lift options, 2 rope tows, and a T-bar. All the trails are groomed. The cost is just $10 to ski all day. The ski hill will open this Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Hours of operation 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on weekends. And on holidays, Badger Mountain Ski Hill is operated, maintained by the Waterville Lions Club, and it runs with a staff that is 100% volunteer. Time to hit the slopes. And that's what's making headlines at 18 minutes after the hour. Don't forget the news with Grant Olson. We'll come your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. 5, 6, and 10. Grant Olson with your news. I'll be handling the sports duties for at least one more day. The news with Grant Olson at 5, 6, and 10. Available for you to watch on our Facebook page and available for you to watch on our website at ncwlife.com. 19 minutes after the hour. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, kennel cameos. Everyone's entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion, and Cal FitzSimmons and his conversation with Senator Brad Hawkins on a busy and snowy Thursday. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
Put winter weather in its place with a new Cub Cadet snow thrower from Rose Tractor. Hi, this is Corey. Let us help you get through the season with our line of Cub Cadet snow throwers. When it comes to snow, never let winter weather get in your way. The Cub Cadet X Series line of snow throwers offers 3 levels of snow clearing power and a host of award-winning models. Get ahead of the snow. Let us help you get into the right snow thrower for the job. Rose Tractor, family owned and operated, located at the corner of 3rd and Rock Island Road in East Wenatchee.
20 minutes after the hour, I'm Dan Kuntz on a snowy Thursday morning. Let's do sports. The Wenatchee Wild are in the middle of their longest homestand of the season, 8 games in a row. Last night was game number 3, and as you can see there, the Penticton V's got the better of the Wenatchee Wild 3-2 in a game that went into overtime with 4-on-4, and then second overtime with 3-on-3. That didn't decide the winner, so they went to a shootout. First time in, 4 years they had a shootout at the Town Toyota Center. Here is your highlights from the shootout.
He's the right-handed shooter. Cuts way wide to his right, dangles across, shot, and a glove save made by Park. And for the Wild, their first shooter will be the hometown product, Matt Dorsey. Dorsey, the right-hander, comes right up the middle. He's in. He shoots, and a pad save made by LaFontaine. And Dorsey denied, so we are even up through one round of the shootout. David Cilia will get the call as the second shooter for Penticton. Cilia, also a right-handed shot. Angles way wide to his left. Comes across, dangles across, and shot and a pad save made by Park. There was a couple of nifty moves by Cilia, and in the end, had he gotten the puck elevated, he had Parks fanned out. Murphy Stratton will take the shot, the big right-hander from Los Angeles. Comes across on the near side, backhander and a blocker save made by LaFontaine. So each side has sent 2 shooters. No one able to score yet here in the shootout. Luke Lowhite will go now for Penticton. And again, another right-handed shooter. He cuts way wide to his right side. Dangles in, shot and a score. Slipped it through the wickets. And so now it's a do or die. And they'll call on the captain, Lucas Souter. Third-year Wild forward from Trinity, Florida. Comes up the middle, dangles in, shot, and he scores! Low blocker side, Souter extends the shootout. And we go to sudden death in this shootout session. Lucas Sillinger, the left-hander. He'll cut way wide to his right side. With a full head of steam, he's in, he's across, and his shot goes wide. And now the Wild have a chance to win it. And they'll call on the kid from Sherbrooke, Christophe Tellier. He's a left-hander, and he cuts way wide to his right. Top of the circle, dangle, shot, and tried to go 5-hole, no dice. So we go to round 5 of the shootout. Even at a goal apiece. Luke Lowhite scoring, Lucas Souter answering. Here's Massimo Rizzo, the captain for the V's. He's a left-hander, comes right up the middle. He's in, dangles across, shoots, and he scores. Nice, good low shot, and Park stayed with it, and he kind of threw the paddle down and tried to deny it, but Rizzo had enough on the forehand to tuck it in underneath. And now Matt Gashevsky will look to try to extend the shootout here. The left-hander and former V. He's in, he shoots, and a save made. And as LaFontaine turns it aside, the V's win it. Their first win here in America in almost 3 years. The Wild do pick up a point, but they will fall in this one in the shootout by a final score of 3.
Tough loss for the Wenatchee Wild. They return to action, by the way, this Friday and Saturday. The Trail Smokiers are in town this weekend. Here's your high school schedule, your bowling schedule for tonight. Eastmont will travel to Moses Lake to roll against the Chiefs at 3:30 this afternoon in high school bowling. And wrestling, quite a bit going on. Wenatchee will also be in Moses Lake in wrestling at 7 o'clock tonight. And the Caribou Trail League has a double duel. Cashmere, Omak, Okanagan, and Cascade will do battle at Cascade. They'll take to the mats at 6 o'clock. Just one game of the boys' basketball schedule. Cashmere is scheduled to travel to Royal in an odd league game, boys' basketball only, at 7:30. And swimming and diving, Wenatchee is at West Valley at 4 o'clock. Eastmont travels to Moses Lake to take to the pool also at 4 o'clock. And the Mariner Caravan rolled into town on Tuesday, their annual visit to town. They were at the Pybus Public Market. Broadcaster Dave Sims did the honor of introducing the two pitchers who made the trip.
First guy I want to bring up is a reliever, came over from the Cleveland organization, pitched really well for us in 14 games last year, 15 innings. 15 innings, 15 strikeouts, 3 walks, sub 1.5 ERA, right-hander, and I think he's going to get a lot of work this year. Sean Armstrong. And our leading winner last year, he had an unbelievable run late June into July, 5-0, about a 1.5 ERA, and finished with 13 wins, best on the club. And a local guy, you're familiar with him from his exploits at Gonzaga, Marco Gonzalez.
Sims, Armstrong, and Gonzalez all spoke about a Mariner offseason that saw a huge turnover in the roster.
You can't help but notice all the changes that were made. I was just wondering what you guys, we got to get your thoughts. Sean, we use that other mic right now. As a player, as a broadcaster, I know that when I get home next week, I'm going to literally be making flashcards because we have so much new personnel. I think we have 3 or 4 returning position players. We have 3 or 4 pitchers who are returning. So it's a real get-to-know-you situation, and I'm sure a lot of guys are going to have name tags on when we get down to Arizona in a few weeks. But what did you guys think when you saw all the moves that Jerry was making during the offseason?
Yeah, you know, it's you build a relationship with your teammates, and this baseball business that we're in, it's kind of a revolving door at times. And I know Sean and I have both been traded in our careers, and we've been up and down, AAA, the big leagues, and you're constantly meeting new people and becoming friends with new guys. So it's nothing new for us, but however, you do miss those guys that are gone, and you know, we're going to have some big holes to fill. But I think when you look at what we've done and what we're trying to do going forward, we're trying to build a team that's going to win a championship here, and I think we're starting to get the right guys to do that. And so I'm looking forward to see how we mesh together as a group, and I know this Japan trip coming up is going to be great for that. We're going to get a lot of team bonding. We're going to have a team that comes back ready, you know, at the end of spring training, ready to go. So I'm excited and I'm hopeful for this.
Armstrong told the crowd at the Pybus that despite the changes in personnel, the goals for the 2019 Mariners remain the same.
Sean, let me ask you this. What's that bonding process like when you've got, you know, 30 new guys? I mean, you may know of, you played against them at some point, maybe in college or in the minor leagues, but, you know, now you got one goal, one team together. What's that like, that many guys trying to put it together?
I mean, you said it best. You know, our main goal is to win. And when you have a core group coming in that are hungry, young, and want to, you know, make their names and their careers known, and our goal is to, you know, bring a championship to Seattle, I mean, it makes it easy because, again, we're playing towards one goal and we're playing together as one team. So, I mean, that's what it's going to take, that bond that Marco talks about. And, again, that Japan trip is going to be huge for us, and I think we're both very excited to see what this year brings.
Pitchers and catchers report in just a couple of weeks. The first Cactus League game for the Mariners is February 21st. The season opener, by the way, for the Mariners is going to be the earliest season opener in Major League Baseball history. It happens March 20th in Tokyo against the A's. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at the bottom of the hour on this snowy Thursday. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley rolls on with the obscure holiday of the day today. If you're one of the many people who made a New Year's resolution, and there's a lot of them, about 80% of those people who make a New Year's resolution abandon the resolution at some point during the year. So if you made a New Year's resolution and you haven't ditched it yet, today's the day, because always, January 17th, it's the day to finally just say, it ain't happening, I'm done with it, and you simply give up on your New Year's resolution. Today is Ditch New Year's Resolution Day. For a lot of people, you make a New Year's resolution and it hangs over your head and they're a burden and you're going, you know what, just die to heck with it. I'm not going to do it. You know, and you don't have to make resolutions on New Year's. It's certainly not necessary. Anyway, if you haven't ditched your New Year's resolution yet, you're looking for a good excuse to do it, you can do it today. It's a holiday, all right? Let's move on to Today in History. Today is the 69th anniversary of what was, at the time, the largest robbery in American history, the famous Brinks robbery in Boston. 11 thieves got together and stole $2.77 million from an armored car company's offices in Boston. That would be $28.2 million today. The 11-member gang planned and plotted for 2 years to pull off this robbery. And the most fascinating fact about this, 5 days before the statute of limitations would have expired and they would have gotten away with it, somebody ratted them out and they ended up arresting 6 suspects. And by the way, of the $2.7 million that was stolen on this date 69 years ago, they only recovered about $60,000 of it. So in a way, they kind of got away with it. The Great Brinks robbery. January 17th, 1961. Yeah, 58 years ago today, President Dwight D. Eisenhower delivered the televised farewell address to the nation 3 days before leaving office, warning Americans about the accumulation of power by the military-industrial complex and also the dangers of spending, massive spending, especially deficit spending. Ike said, you know, the United States government has no business spending money it doesn't have. We no listen. Happened on this date 58 years ago. This is the 40th anniversary of Super Bowl V, considered by many the worst Super Bowl ever played. It became known as the Stupor Bowl. Let's see, poor play, they missed a PAT, there were penalties, 11 turnovers, the officials messed up. There were 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter alone, and this is the only Super Bowl where the MVP, Chuck Howley, a linebacker for the Cowboys, was named the MVP, and the Cowboys lost the game. That's how bad this Super Bowl was. Super Bowl V, 48 years ago today, and of course, if you were around 28 years ago today, you remember this. We went to war, yeah, the Gulf War began on this date back in 1991. And finally, at 32 minutes after the hour, let's do some birthdays. 3 people have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Benjamin Franklin, the first American. He gets that honor, I think. That's his nickname. The only president of the United States who was never president of the United States. He's one of only 6 men who signed both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. He was born in the state in 1706, lived a very long time, like almost all the founding fathers did. Lived to the ripe old age of 84. Ben Franklin's birthday today. Al Capone, probably the most famous criminal or gangster in American history. There's Al. Was born in this state in 1899. Passed away at the age of 48 in 1947. They eventually nabbed him for tax evasion. That's how he ended up in prison. And the legend, Muhammad Ali, was born on this date back in 1942. Of course, we lost Muhammad Ali a few years ago at the age of 74, the greatest of all time. All right, everyone is entitled to Mike Medani's opinions right around the corner. Also, Cal FitzSimmons in his conversation with Senator Brad Hawkins. But first, it's Thursday. Let's see if we can get Penelope the dog home. It's Kennel Cameos on the NCW Life Channel.
Hey guys, Megan here with the NCW Life Channel. We are here with Jenny, the volunteer coordinator at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and joining us this week is Penelope.
She's a staff favorite and a volunteer favorite. She goes around to all the assisted livings. She's who we use to go to the schools around here. Penelope's active, she is playful, she's sweet. She would love to be in a home and have somebody that's with her quite a bit of the time. She really just wants to be with her person.
And how can someone go about adopting Penelope?
The best thing would be to come down here to the shelter and meet Penelope and see if she's the right fit for you, and then fill out an application and adopt her.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Kennel Cameos is supported in part by Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory in Leavenworth. Not only does the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory have great house-made fudge and super delicious candy and caramel apples, but they also have great doggy treats for your four-legged friends, located at 636 Front Street in Leavenworth. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
Hi, I'm Kevin Prosser, and this is my print shop, Color FX in Cashmere. Color FX offers screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing on t-shirts, jerseys, bags, banners, signs, and more. With 30 years experience, you won't be disappointed with the quality and quick turnaround times you will get at more than a fair price. Please call Color FX.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Antique Mall at Cashmere wishes you a happy and prosperous new year. With 15,000 square feet to explore, Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone. For repurposing projects, do-it-yourselfers, and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, this is the place to find your next project. Antique Mall at Cashmere, their friendly staff is here to help you. Stop on by today.
Welcome to another edition of Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table.
Outdoorsmen have been providing fresh food for American family tables for generations. Hunting and fishing is a way of life for our family, and we enjoy cooking delicious fish and game meals.
Oh, that's awesome.
We want to share our recipes with you. This is Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table.
Watch for new episodes of Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table, starting Saturday, June 30th on the NCW Live channel.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, alcohol doesn't cause abusive or aggressive behavior, but it lowers inhibitions. So what is already inside the consumer can come out. In vino veritas, as they say, wherever Latin is spoken. Now, President Trump, he's like alcohol. Now, he doesn't cause racism and bigotry, but he's providing an atmosphere where it can be expressed from where it already exists. Now, despite what knee-jerk responses might cause in some of my liberal friends, thinking this is some sort of supportive post or justification for the man, no, I'm sorry, it's not. But despite his personal peccadillos, Trump isn't causing hatred in anyone. Blaming him, therefore, is only partially correct. Oh, by the way, alcohol is also a central nervous system depressant, if you get my drift. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing honey blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Only one country could build a truck like this. Designed in California, engineered in Michigan, tested in Arizona, and assembled in Mississippi, powered by Cummins of Indiana. The all-new Nissan Titan. It's an American classic. Is it on your list? Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Welcome, Senator Brad Hawkins to NCW Life. How are things over in Olympia today?
Well, things are going well, Cal. Thanks for the opportunity to be with you. Today we had the State of the State speech. Yesterday we had opening ceremonies in the Senate, so things are starting to pick up. A little bit of the ceremonial activities to start with, and then things will pick up later in the week.
So I take it you listened to the governor's speech, and what was there anything in there that stood out to you?
Well, yeah, I did listen to it. In fact, I had really good people to sit with. Representatives Gaynor and Steele sit side by side on the House floor, which is sometimes a bit unusual. Sometimes the two House members have different seats. But when I found out they were together, I asked them, hey, guys, could you save me a seat? I'd like to sit with you. So I got the chance to sit right in between them. So we listened to it together as a 12th district legislative team. The governor was very upbeat. He's a good speaker. Former governor and ambassador to China, Gary Locke, was in the gallery. So, but the governor did lay out a number of very ambitious legislative ideas: climate change, clean energy. Talked about education efforts, mental health, ORCA recovery, and quite a few different things. The universal health care included, a free college, and really it was one of those things where everybody was so upbeat about it because he wanted to do all these things. But there was one thing he didn't cover in his speech, which is how we as a state are going to pay for all these things. And so that was one thing I noted. He didn't get to talking about his proposed tax increases that he rolled out a couple weeks ago.
And what do you think about those tax increases that he rolled out a couple weeks ago? It's a significant increase in spending for the state. Are you hearing within your party and within your body, the Senate, any reaction to how that might go down?
Well, I'm very concerned about them. In the past, the governor has proposed something similar, both with the proposed capital gains tax, which would be a new capital gains income tax in the state of Washington. Governor's also proposed significant increases in the business and occupation taxes. And altogether, I think his revenue, additional revenue through his taxes, were in the neighborhood of $3 billion or more. And that concerns me a great deal. But in the past, the governor and the majority parties haven't had the votes to advance them. But the pendulum, as you know, has swung quite a bit over with these recent elections. Of the 49 members in the state Senate, 28 are Democrat and 21 are Republican. And so really, I guess what it comes down to is whether they're really serious about advancing those priorities and those tax increases, because I do believe they have the votes this year to advance those if they want to. So unlike past years, unfortunately for the people of the state of Washington, we could be seeing some significant tax increases from Olympia.
Well, what can you do, Brad, and what can Republicans do to rein this in a bit if there's going to be significant tax increases on the residents of Washington?
Well, I just say that just because I want to keep it real, but I think there's a possibility that if there are a handful of moderate Democrats, for example, in the Senate, that want to provide some pushback, the Senate Republicans, all 21 of us, can work with those moderate Democrats to try to push back on those. But perhaps, some of these proposed tax increases, whether it's the B&O taxes, maybe those don't stick. Maybe those are the governor's giveaways, but maybe the capital gains income tax is the one this year that is going to stick. Me personally, I don't like any of them. I'm very thankful that our economy has been doing so well, and I don't want us as a policy-making body, as a legislative branch, to compromise or undermine our positive state economy. So that gives me a lot of concern, because when we do that, we have less revenue to fund the key services in our state. As you know, Cal, we've been able to make significant progress at meeting the McCleary decision for K-12 education, and we did that primarily through all the additional revenue we had through our strong economy. But once you start making some changes and the taxes get implemented, that could adversely impact our economy. We could actually have less revenue to fund the key services in the state of Washington.
Well, it sounds like, Brad, you're going to be on the defensive a lot over there in Olympia, trying to head off what could be against your interests and your district's interest. But do you also have bills that you're looking forward to trying to get through the session?
Well, I have some priorities. Primarily, my priorities are in budget proposals, and I've been assembling those, both in the operating budget and in the capital budget. As far as advancing individual pieces of policy, I actually have some reluctance about that this year because of the significant expanded majorities. I don't necessarily know when you sign on to a bill in the legislative arena, if there's no tight majorities between the two parties, or, for example, the Republicans no longer have the majority in the Senate, then the bills that you sponsor or co-sponsor could sort of take on a life of their own as they go through the process and get amended, both in the committee and on the Senate floor, and in the House committee and on the House floor. So I'm actually pretty reluctant to do that, and I kind of want to see, sort of feel my way out here for the first few weeks and just get a real sense of how bipartisan, frankly, my colleagues across the aisle want to be. I don't necessarily think they have to be. I think they might just be bipartisan, one, either out of the kindness of their hearts, or two, because they want to advance policies and budgets that are in the best interest of all Washingtonians. I pride myself in working across the aisle and working in a bipartisan manner. And there's a lot of good colleagues in the Democratic Party who want to do that as well. But it remains to be seen over the next 103 days just how serious, I guess, both parties are about wanting to work in a bipartisan manner, given the significant disparities in both the House and the Senate. So you're right, Cal. I am going to be playing defense, I believe, primarily for the people of the 12th District. But there are so many issues that shouldn't be about Republicans or Democrats, and I'm going to keep trying to carry that message as well and do what's in the best interest of all the people of the 12th District, and hopefully we'll be able to develop budgets and policies here that are in the best interest of everybody in our state. That's what we've been successful with over several years, because the majorities have either been really close or because the Republicans have actually held a majority in one of the chambers, providing a bit of a backstop and a check and a balance, if you will, to some of the other proposals that have come from the governor or the House of Representatives. But that backstop is no longer there this year, as you've pointed out. So we'll just have to see how things go over the next several days and weeks. And once the budgets get proposed in the other chambers, then we'll begin to get a real sense of how serious they are about trying to advance some of those tax ideas that they've proposed. In the past, they've proposed them, they just haven't tried too hard legislatively to advance them. But if they do begin to try to move them legislatively, that's when I will get very concerned.
Which of those, Brad, do you think you'll be seeing first as far as the tax proposals go?
Yeah, it remains to be seen. The governor has proposed some of these same taxes in the past, and the House Democrats have proposed them as well in their budgets. In fact, the House Democrats have actually gone as far as to approve those budgets, but approving the budgets involve not just the budget bill itself, but also the bills that would be required to implement the budget. So when we approve a budget over here in Olympia, for example, like the operating budget, we'll approve the operating budget bill and probably 20 or 30 complementary bills that are necessary to get that budget fully implemented. The House Democrats have held back on actually advancing the key bills that are needed to advance their capital gains income tax, which they've proposed before. They've also proposed the B&O taxes before, and they've received significant pushback from real estate agents and attorneys and others that provide those key services that would be taxed. I don't think people want additional taxes on businesses in our state. So if I had to venture a guess, the governor's proposed business and occupation tax increases are probably not going to advance. But the capital gains income tax, on the other hand, that could be a tax that is proposed sort of to only tax the wealthy. But as we'll begin to see once we dive into that proposal for capital gains, that it impacts people who have rental homes. It could impact people with that have investments for people's, their nest egg for their retirement, things like that. So there are a lot of ways that the capital gains income tax could impact a lot of middle-class families, not just the very wealthy, as many people will probably pitch it to be.
It sounds like you have your work cut out for you there in Olympia, Brad. We'll look forward to checking in with you on a regular basis and see how things are going, and maybe you'll have some good news to report for us at some point.
I hope so, Cal. I appreciate the chance to connect with you on a regular basis and the viewers of NCW Life. And I do think there will be many positive things that come out of this legislative session. And in the end, I hope there are budgets that I can vote for, but I guess that'll remain to be seen. But I do appreciate the chance to connect with your viewers. And if people are listening and have any interest in visiting Olympia or connecting with us, I ask that they schedule time with our office or send us an email or call us on our toll-free hotline, because we'd be eager to help them follow the process from back home.
All right. Thank you, Senator Hawkins.
There's no substitute for the power of cable TV advertising. With Solion Cable TV Advertising, you can reach your target audience right here in North Central Washington. We understand their viewing habits and can precisely target your customers on great cable networks like these. Call Solion Broadcasting today and let us show you how to put your business message right in front of thousands of prospects at a very affordable price. Solion Broadcasting, 509-888-2020.
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Kashmir. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Kashmir, the coolest place in town.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
And welcome back to Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. Dan Kuntz, your host on this Thursday morning. During the Brad Hawkins interview that you just watched with FitzSimmons, I had a chance to pop into the newsroom and listen in on the scanner, and there are lots and lots and lots of accidents all over north central Washington. The tow trucks have been busy. Some injury accidents, others not so bad, but driving conditions this morning have gotten deteriorated actually quite a bit. If you're just joining us, it started to snow a little bit after midnight, right around 12, 10 after 12, quarter after 12. Early this morning it started to snow. It snowed lightly until about 4:45, 5 o'clock or so this morning. Then the snow started to come down at a much more intense clip, and it's been snowing pretty good since then. But it looks like we're going to get through this. We have a winter weather advisory. It remains in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon. The National Weather Service is predicting that this snow that we're getting now is going to switch over to light rain this afternoon. In fact, let's go ahead and toss that forecast up for you one more time while we're on that subject. So again, a winter weather advisory until 1 o'clock today. High today of 38, so we're going to get a little bit of snow melt. So snow this morning, light rain this afternoon. Now tonight, it's going to be cloudy, should be dry, 31 for the overnight low. Friday is when things get interesting. Cloudy and dry on Friday afternoon, high 41. But Friday night, it's going to start raining. And overnight, Friday night into Saturday, it's going to rain quite a bit. In fact, on Saturday, we'll start out with clouds and rain, and then the sunshine will be coming out on Saturday afternoon at a high of 43. So if you don't like the snow, it's going to melt on Friday. It's going to melt Friday night with the rain, and it's going to melt on Saturday. Sunday, we're looking at about 40 degrees for a high. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Monday, a lot of people for that. It's a holiday. High of about 40 there. So temperatures above normal. Above normal. Again, snow expected till about noon or 1 o'clock, and then the snow should be tapering off, and it should, if we get precipitation later on this afternoon into the early evening hours, it should come down in the form of rain. Good news for us anyway, for the mountain passes. The DOT's website is up and running again. It was down for quite some time this morning, so we can now give you live shots of the major mountain passes. That's a live shot of I-90. Traction tires are advised on Snoqualmie. It is snowing. You'll find snow and slush on the roadway. Again, traction tires advised on Snoqualmie Pass. Stevens Pass, it's snowing, but not as hard on Stevens as it is on I-90. But traction tires are still advised on Stevens Pass with snow and slush and ice in places. Again, it's snowing on Stevens. It's snowing lightly. It's also blowing a little bit. Blewett Pass, well, you can't really see the roadway on Blewett Pass. As you can see there, it's pretty much covered in snow. You'll find compact snow and ice on the roadway. It is snowing, as you might imagine, on Blewett Pass. Traction tires are advised. So there are no restrictions, just advisories across the board. On Blewett, you see there, on I-90 and on Stevens. It's a traction tire advisory. However, that being said, for the major mountain passes, they have a winter weather advisory. It begins at 4 o'clock today and goes through noon on Friday. By the time Sunday rolls around and the mountain passes, they're expecting anywhere between 14 to 29 inches of snow. 14 to 20 inches of snow is expected on Snoqualmie Pass. Near 30 inches of snow expected on Stevens Pass, with the heaviest snowfall expected to come down on Friday night. Remember how I said we're going to get rain on Friday night? They're going to get snow in the major mountain passes on Friday night. That's it for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Have a safe Thursday, please. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.